So let's review. Our shir began with the Gemara referring to the Mishnah. A person may stand in one rishus and move things about in another rishus. As long as he does not move things 4 amas in a rishus harabim. This scenario could also be where he is in a house and moving things around in the rishus harabim through a window or from the roof, which is more than 10 tefachim above the ground. This would be similar to the ruling of Rava that one who carries an object daled amas in the rishus harabim, v'haviru derech alav chayiv. Even if he passed it over himself, which means above 10 tefachim, which is a makom p'tur, he is still chayiv. However, this Mishnah does not indicate support of Rava, because we could indeed infer ha'haitzi. If he did move an object daled amas, chayiv chatas. He's obligated in a korban chatas because it's an issa d'oraisa. Or we could infer ha'haitzi if he did move an object daled amas, pater aval aser. He's exempt from a korban chatas because it's only an issa d'rabban. The Mishnah next teaches, Lo yamer adam b'shus hayachid v'yashtin b'shus ram v'lo yaruk. A person may not stand in one rishus and urinate or spit into another rishus. Rav Yosef, hishtin v'rak chayav chatas. If he did, he's chayav chatas. The Gemara asks, in order to be chayav for haitzah, the item has to be lifted off a place that is 4 by 4 tvachim, and the mouth and bladder are both less than 4 by 4 tvachim. The Gemara answers, the fact that he needs to remove the urine or saliva makes the place it is lifted from significant enough to be considered an akira. The Mishnah continues. Rabbi Yehuda Aimer, Av mishen nitlish roike befiv lo yahalach 4 amas ad sheyarik. When saliva collects in his mouth, he may not walk 4 amas in rishus harabim, because at that point it is considered to be separate from the body. After some discussion, the Gemara concludes that Rabbi Yehuda modified his position and ruled as follows. Roike v'nitlash, collected saliva is considered detached only if hipachba, he swished it around in his mouth. Kichai v'nitlash, collected phlegm is considered detached even if lo hipachba, he did not swish it around in his mouth. Tangentially, Rish Lakish says, Kiyach b'fnei rabbi chayiv misa. One who coughs up and spits out phlegm in front of his rabbi is chayiv misa, as it is written in Mishlei, kol masane ava mavis. The Gemara interprets it to mean those that cause others to hate Torah and its adherents are deserving of death. Zak the Mishnah, L'yamer adam b'shus hayachid v'yishta b'shus harabim, b'shus harabim v'yishta b'shus hayachid. One may not stand in one rishus and drink in another rishus. Elim kein hichnes roisha b'rubei l'makom shu shaisa. Unless he brought his head and the majority of his body into the place where he drinks. The Mishnah adds, B'chein b'gas. The same is true of a wine press, which the Gemara will explain. The Gemara explains that the previous Mishnah, which allows one to stand in one rishus and move things about in another rishus, is speaking of general items. But our Mishnah, which does not allow drinking in one and another rishus, because he might bring the water to his rishus, is speaking of chafesin shetzrichen lei, handling things he really needs, such as the water. Ibaylo, karmless mai. There is a machlekes whether the same Esser applies when one of the rishus is a karmless. Abai holds that it is Asr, Rava holds it is mutter, because making it Asr would be a gzer l'gzera, a double rabbinic decree, which we generally do not do. We would be saying, he may not drink this way, because he might bring the water to his rishus, which would also only be a nisit rabban. Abai cites as proof the words of the Mishnah, v'chein begas, so too in the wine press. Abai says there would be no novelty in this teaching, unless the Mishnah is speaking about a gas which has the status of a karmelis. And the Mishnah is saying that he may not drink from it if he's standing in another domain, a rishus hayachid or rishus harabim. Rava refutes this proof by saying that these words v'chein begas teach a completely different halacha regarding meiser. Drinking over the wine press under certain conditions is permitted even before separating meiser, because it's considered shtiyas arai, casual drinking. Zok the Mishnah, koilet adam min hamaschila lamatim yutfach. It's permitted for a person standing in the rishus harabim to catch in the ear water falling from a gutter below 10 tefachim, because the water is already in the rishus harabim by the time he catches it. But it is usher to take the water directly from the gutter if the gutter is within 3 tefachim of the roof, because it is considered to be part of the roof, which is rishus hayachid. Min hatziner mikal makom shaisa. It is mutter to drink directly from a drain pipe because it is usually more than 3 tefachim from the roof, and less than 4 by 4 tefachim a makom ptur. If the drain pipe is more than 4 by 4 tefachim, it is usher to drink from it because it is a karmelis. Zok the Mishnah, bar b'shus harabim v'chul yaseh gevay yud tefachim, chaloin she'al gabav memaln hemen b'shabbos. If a well in Rosh Hashanah has a 10 tefach wall around it, we may draw water from it directly from a window above in a house near it. The Gemara has two explanations for why the wall around the bar is needed. The bar itself and the house are both Rosh Hashanah. There is a 4 tefach space between the house and the bar, which is part of the Rosh Hashanah. If there is no wall around the bar, the bucket would be going from the bar, Rosh Hashanah, through the Aver Rosh Hashanah below 10 tefachim to the house, Rosh Hashanah, which would be Aser. However, since there is a 10 tefach wall around the bar, the buckets must pass through the ear space of the Rosh Hashanah at above 10 tefachim, which is a makam tur, and it is therefore mutter. There is no 4 tefach space between the house and the bar, but the bar itself is less than 10 tefachim deep, and the wall around it completes the required 10 tefachim to make it Rosh Hashanah. The Mishnah teaches us that bar b'chol yosem it's tarfon asar. The Mishnah continues. Ashba b'shus harabim gavoy yud tefachim chaloin shal gabav sheivchen l'teicha mayim b'Shabbos. One may pour water from a window onto an adjacent 10 tefach high garbage dump, both rishus hayachid, and we're not concerned that it might be removed one day because it is an ashba b'derabim owned by the public and not likely to be removed. Zok the Mishnah. Ilan shahaya mesach al haaretz. If the branches of a tree hover over the ground, and the ends come to within 3 tefachim of the ground, it is mutter to carry under the tree because the branches form walls all around. The Gemara qualifies this to be only if the area is up to Beis Hasayim. But if the area is larger than Beis Hasayim, it is usher to carry there. Even if it was hukuf ladira, the tree is planted for the purpose of living under it, because dira shetashmish al-aver, a place enclosed primarily to watch the area outside, is not considered a dira.